Alors bonsoir tout le monde,
Good
bienvenue.
evening, everyone. Welcome to this regular and public meeting of the Dieppe City Council on this June the 13th. Without any further delay, let's proceed with the opening word. Dear colleagues, let's have the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Once again, welcome one and all. The meeting is called to order. And confirmation of quorum by the clerk. It is confirmed. Declaration of conflict of interest by the councillors. Any conflict of interest to be declared tonight? None. None are being reported. So let's proceed with the adoption of the agenda, moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Boudreau, that we adopt the agenda as presented. The question. Any question on the agenda? None. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Motion is carried as presented. This brings us to the presentation, inquiries, and petition. Item 7.1. Inquiries by the council members for the Kodiak Regional CMP. Sergeant Mario Fata is with us tonight. So, good evening and welcome. Do you have any announcements for us? Any comments? I don't have much except the provincial section for the traffic was here. I don't know if they've mentioned it in the newspaper. Well, we've added the Kodiak members. It was a success for the whole section. But 118 fines were handed out. That's the whole Kodiak, maybe 10 or 20% of all uh, crimes are committed in the app. And with the exhaust system that are absent and the testing. So they were identified as the worst one. Thank you. From the counselors, does anyone have a question for the sergeant? None question from the counselors. Monsieur Flotta, you're getting away very easily. I'll pay for it someday. I'll pay. I should not have mentioned that. Monsieur Brido, thank you, Your Worship. Monsieur Flotta, you mentioned the provincial team. If I understood the last meeting of police, we would see them shortly. We try to bring them every 4 to 6 weeks. Well, we try as much as possible every 4 weeks, once a month. We have to share them with the balance of the province. But then we add those from Kodiak, what they don't do in 2 days. It's only traffic. Some days, well, it was, I guess there's less criminal offense than last time, but we want to bring them in every 4 weeks. It's good to have them on a regular basis, and it certainly will help the people who have filed complaints with us when they see that that is the work that is being done, the promotion, and that's why we encourage the traffic committee that was established for the three communities uh, to make them go to the traffic committee. Well, it's a complaint. If the citizen call and they want to talk to us, we'll take it more often. It's complaints that councillors receive, and there's no name attached to the complaint. It's mostly a complaint for a certain intersection, so we send it to the traffic committee. And when these teams come down, well, there's a lot of complaints on a given intersection more than elsewhere. So we watch the traffic in a certain place. Well, recently I received a complaint that they were asking me the results. What do we do to solve the problem? Well, it's kind of uh, questionable because we have a provincial group that come to our region on a regular basis, and they deal with these. We encourage the people to call us directly, but if they would rather contact the counselor, well, we don't have the first hand knowledge. That's why we ask you to make sure that they're directed to the public work. Well, where there's more complaints, we try to deal with these intersections. Thank you. The speed, the problem, I think, when the one that I hear the most is the noise. It's probably the major complaint that I hear about. Once again, thank you. As always, you're welcome to stay, but we will all understand that there's a lot of other things that are waiting for you elsewhere. Thank you very much. So, that being said, did we get any complaints or questions from the public through the internet or that were sent to us? No? Okay. Let's continue with item 9, adoption of the minutes, essentially that of a regular council of May the 24th. A motion, please. Monsieur Lantang moves, seconded by Councillor Roy. On the question, no question. All those in favor of adopting the minutes of the meeting of May 24th, say aye. Reminded nay. Resolution is adopted as presented. Item 10, motion memorandum and nominations. 10.1.1, finance, financial incentive. Monsieur Melanson. Thank you, Your Worship. Good evening, everyone. For our first file, as you know, since 2018, the city of Dieppe implemented an incentive program to identify our downtown. The card identify clearly on the website. Three elements are part of the evolution to be eligible for incentive. Among those, the identification of the downtown, and we talk about creating parking lot, and then also an incentive that deal with a percentage of the building license. Following that evaluation by the staff, it is to authorize an incentive of $1,128,259 given to 250 Acadie Apartment Incorporated. These funds are in reserve and the account is identified to be able to make that contribution once the project will be completed in a very important matter. It's to be for consideration by the council for the reading of the resolution. Monsieur Lantin. Thank you, Your Worship. That council authorized that the financial estimate at 1,528,259 be paid to 250 Acadie Dieppe Apartment Inc., except for the project located at 250 Acadie Avenue under the XPD 1-2022 policy. For to apartment estate township conditional upon that project driving the necessary approval upon the various city departments and the requirements of the be taken by 1 to 20, 19 to 22. General Operation Financial Incentive, moved by Councillor Nothing, seconded by Councillor Brideau. Other question? Other question, Ms. Gadbu. Your Worship, I'm in favor of the resolution, but I have a question for future project. It strikes me we're giving 1.5 million incentive, and there's nothing done for affordable lodging. Do these kind of incentive be one day part and parcel of affordable lodging. Is that something we could consider in the future? Yes, Your Worship, Councillor Godbout, we certainly we could have a change made to the incentive. We work in with the major cities of New Brunswick how to integrate potential scenario to have the affordable in, in due time when we're able to have initiative. We should be able to make recommendation. Thank you. While maintaining a certain balance with the provincial responsibilities of the issue. That's why the Association of the cities are working together to try and find a formula uh, that could be fair for both parties. Thank you. Mrs. Boudreau.
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
Thank you, Worship.
Oui, c'est un
Yes,
gros montant pour des
it's a
stationnements.
large amount for parking, but
Je me demandais
I was wondering
combien de logements sont dans ce bloc appartement-là.
how
Il y a
many
127 places
apartments are in these apartments.
puis 39 extérieurs.
255 underground and 39
Il n'y a
outside
pas de
seems
maximum
like a lot.
encore
We don't have a maximum in mind
de stationnement.
of limit of parking. Well, the incentive for parking is to make sure that we can create the necessary parking for construction purpose. We have the parking on the surface also, but mostly this guaranteed that according to the standard that we have is to have the number of parking for the number of lodging created. To have a more precise answer as to how many residences are created, I don't have the information with me, but Gerard, I would say it's over 100 uh, parking created, but the incentive goes to create the parking inside the building. It gives the opportunity to identify the downtown versus to have a surface parking that this is really inside underground parking,
Il n'y a pas de
uh,
stationnement à
but there's
l'extérieur.
no parking outside. There will be, but it's not subsidized.
OK,
All
parfait.
right, fine, thank you. For the next question, the mic is the one beside you. No, no, no,
En arrière de l'écran.
behind the screen. It's hidden behind the screen. Welcome. Any other question, Mrs. Leboudier? No, it's okay. Oh, okay. No more questions. All those in favor of the resolution say aye. Contrary minded say nay. Carried as presented. 10.2 Fire Service accidentally consideration of policy very clear. When we have to let go of apartment, we have to come back to get the advice of the council for the fire department. We are conform with the other two so that communication can meet. We brought some changes to our communication system. We identified 26 portable phones and some chargers that are available. We made them available for a sale. We need your support on such an action. For the reading of the resolution, Mr. Godet, thank your worship that council determined the following sets as surplus item as a authorize the free fire department to proceed for the sale or donation of these 26 portable radio and four charging units. I so move. Moved by Councillor Gadet, seconded by Councillor Boudreau on the question. On the question, Mrs. Godbout.
Monsieur le maire, j'aimerais
Thank you,
discuter
worship.
avec vous
I would like to clarify the
sécurité
issue
des
for
systèmes
security
qui sont
purpose.
arrangés pour ça. C'est pas moi
What is
qui
a
décide
financial
de ça.
issue
Puis
in,
pourquoi
in
ça
the
arrive? C'est
resolution,
vraiment
but
parce
rather in the
qu'il y a des
paragraph
sécurités
without
qui se
12
cherchent
portable
pour une
radio
période de temps.
would suffice for a short
C'est
period
vraiment
of
parce
time.
qu'il
Can
faut
you
que là,
clarify what we mean by a
absolument.
short period of time, Monsieur Cormier?
Merci,
Yes,
Monsieur le
thank you,
Président, et
Your Worship.
honorable Audier.
And Councillor Goodbout,
Pour clarifier les
to
12 radios dont
clarify
vous
the
parlez,
12 radios that we'll keep on stock, it's only for Plan B.
un peu incompréhensible.
Presently, we're fully
C'est la
equipped with
communication, c'est
portable
un nouvelle
uh,
communication, ce fait qu'on voudrait
radio
garder
for
les 12 équipements
communication
pour
PMR. We would
garder
like
les
to
12
keep
équipements. Donc,
some
ça répond à votre
of
question.
our old equipment as much as possible. Does that answer your question? No, if you could clarify, because I understand that the 12 portable radio are being used when there's a lack, but it's the plan that we need. 12 suffice for a short period of time. I would like to understand how long is a short period of time. Plan B can work for how long until we have another problem.
Historiquement, le problème qu'on avait eu avant,
Presently,
c'est
the
qu'il y avait
problem that we
certaines
had
radios
in
qui avaient
2017
d'équipements avec des
when we
durées
had a
horaires
breakdown of
de 2
equipment
heures.
with the previous supplier was for
Donc, pour
6 hours. We talk about a short period of time. We talk about 1 or 2 days before the supplier can give us communication equipment. Historically, that was the line, but the 12 radios that we will have in inventory will suffice to give each team and to have a communication with the system. 1 to 2 days at least. Yes, historically, that's what we had in the past, but more than 2 days than then we are Plan C. We have a mutual agreement with the neighboring cities that can lend us or even activate the center for emergency center. We didn't have to do it in the last 20 years that I've been there with everything. I'm in favor.
Merci, Monsieur
Thank you,
Thibault.
Mr. Thibodeau.
Je suis en faveur. Merci.
I'm also in favor, but I was wondering
Du nucléaire,
how many
oui.
recharge unit do we keep?
Merci pour la question. On
Thank you
a
for your question.
suffisamment
We have
de recharge pour pouvoir
enough
maintenir les
recharge
radios
to
fonctionnelles.
maintain the 12 radio
Merci.
operating.
Alors, s'il n'y a
Thank
pas
you.
d'autres
If
questions,
there's no other question,
ceux qui sont en faveur de la
those
résolution,
in
s'il lève la
favor of
main.
the resolution say aye.
L'avis contraire ferait non.
Contrary-minded
C'est
nay.
adopté tel que présenté.
Carried as presented.
Euh, 10.3.2, micro-surfaçage.
10.3.2,
C'est présentation.
servicing point one previously, if I may.
Ah, excusez-moi, je
The
ne sais pas.
intersection Acadie, I jump a line, no problem. So here is to retain WO Inspector Incorporated for the engineering service in the amount of $75,000, and it's to make the analysis and conception of the improvement that we feel are necessary at the intersection of Acadie Champlain. So we did the Acadia towards Kennedy last year, I believe. We did not integrate this element because there was an important aspect to consider for circulation purpose. We're ready to undertake the project next year, so it's to have it done by 2023. For the reading of the resolution,
Madame Leboutier.
Mr. Boutier,
WSP Canada Inc.
that authorized the will inspect the engineering work and the improvement of the intersection of Acadie intersection at the cost of 75,000 plus HST, and further authority be taken from account 3-3-30-58-1759 general plan, and that council authorized the following budget from account number 3-35-35-58-1799 general account 17,500 from account 3-35-35-58-7664 general capital budget round about and 78,700 on account 7-4-2012 1920 General Capital Reserve Funds. Also moved by Councillor Liberty, seconded by Councillor Benito on the question.
Sur la question, Monsieur
On the
Thibault.
question, Monsieur Thibodeau, Your Worship, would you explain that the project will cost $75,000 and we make two transfers of 7850? That makes $157,000. So would
Bonne
someone
question.
explain? Good question.
Est-ce que Monsieur Cormier, vous avez la réponse?
Mr. Cormier, do you have an answer? Mr. Cormier, thank you for the question. We make a transfer from the reserve to another project, and then from that project to the project for the intersection of Acadie Champlain. There is only $78,500 that will change place, but it moves in two places. But it's only for the improvement project.
Ok, merci.
Thank you.
Ça va? Autre question?
Other question,
Madame Leboutier?
Mr. Boudier?
Vous avez oublié.
No, I forgot.
Est-ce que vous oubliez d'éteindre la lumière?
Maybe I forgot to turn out the light.
OK, s'il n'y a pas d'autres questions,
If there's no
je
other
vais
question, all those in
mettre
favor,
un oui.
say aye.
Et l'avis contraire, pour le non.
Contrary-minded,
La
nay.
résolution est adoptée telle que présentée.
Carried as
Et maintenant,
presented.
nous pouvons
And
passer
now
au
we can
10.2,
talk about
exploitation
10.3.2,
du marché
Tender
microsurfaçage.
Avenue
Alors,
uh,
je peux dire qu'on va
manufacturing service in 2022. We'll do a lot of microsurfacing. So
protéger notre site
this we want to
touristique.
protect our asset as
Les contrats
much as possible.
d'exploitation
The size of the
étaient
project was so high
signés à
that
deux
we chose
contrats.
to go to two contracts.
Alors, et les
So,
contrats suite à
and the two
tender
contracts following a
sont
tender,
revenus
we
non
call
payés.
bidders from two
Et ça a
business. The
été
same supplier is
contrats
recommended
sont
for both
coal
contracts,
milling,
namely coal
industrial
milling,
milling.
industrial coal
Le premier
milling.
contrat
The
est
first
de
contract is one million three hundred forty to three eleven
ici, on parle
dollars, and
principalement
here
de
we talk
Champlain
mostly of Champlain Street.
site
With
local.
the
Et
sections are identified in the kind of second contract
on veut
is
s'assurer
one
que
million
celui-ci
eight
est
hundred ninety eight
d'accord.
three hundred
C'est
eleven
indiqué dans le mémorandum
that you
que
see in the memo
le contrat.
that I have on screen.
Alors, ici, on parle des
So
différentes
here we
streets
talk about different
qui sont
streets
sur le boulevard de
that
Dieppe,
are on the Dieppe Boulevard,
d'abord le Marquis et
Thomas
Amiro,
and the
ainsi
Amiro,
que le Fox
and
Creek,
also the
première
Fox Creek
section,
Road
une deuxième section
and the
et
second
Dieppe Boulevard.
section of Dieppe Boulevard.
Bon, c'est la recommandation
So that's the recommendation
pour ce contrat ici et j'ajouterai
to
aussi
give
qu'il
this
y a une
contract, and I would
contribution
add that we
financière
have financial
du ministère des
contribution
Transports
from the
qui
Department
est
of
spécifié
Transportation
ici dans
at
le
the
document.
percentage that is
Alors,
mentioned in the
56
designated
pour la
city.
province et
54% by the
46 pour le
province,
municipalité.
46 for the municipality.
Bien, merci.
Thank you.
Pour la lecture de la
The
résolution,
reading of
Monsieur
the
Lanting.
resolution, Monsieur Lanting,
Merci, M. le maire.
your
Alors que le
worship,
conseil adjuge le
that
contrat
council
d'exécution
awarded the
du
tender of the project
microsurfaçage
entitled 2022
HSC
Microsurfacing Various Streets,
au soumissionnaire
contract
en
one
licence
to
unique
the lowest
pour une
bidder,
durée
industrial coal mining, to the cost of $1,434,111. Please just
sur le
give
projet
the
de
uh,
microsurfaçage 2022
microservicing
qui reste le
2022
contrat
different
1
street
au
contract
soumissionnaire
2
en
to the
licence soit
lowest bidder,
2025
industrial coal mining, at the
pour
cost of $1,895,111 plus HST,
autorise et
and
expédie les
also
services
authorizing
relevant
speed services to
de la
undertake the
municipalité
engineering relative to these
concernant
services at the cost of
les
145,000
durées
plus
conduites
HST, and authorized
d'expérience
furthermore that these
de la
expenses be
maison
deferred for
centrale
account number
d'utilisation des espaces
3-3-35 58
19 76 budget
7603
d'utilisation
general
générale programme de
budget
microsurfaçage d'environnement
microsurfacing
sur
program. I so
Lanting
move by Councilor Lantin, seconded by Councilor Leboutillier on the question.
Sur la question, Monsieur
On the
Godet.
question, Monsieur Godet.
Merci, Président.
Thank you, Worship.
Juste une couple de questions pour
I have a few questions for
microsurfaçage.
microsurfacing.
J'ai vu que vous en allez de l'Acadie à l'Amiro,
I said
dans le Mélenchon.
from Acadie to Amiro, we
Puis
stop at
je sais
Mélenchon
que c'est à
Road.
cause que pour l'instant,
Is it because
le chemin Forswick est pas assez bon pour
the
être
Foxwick Road is not good enough to be microsurfaced?
futur à réparer ça ou
Are we planning in the future to fix it?
M. Cormier
I
répond.
can let Mr. Cormier answer. He's the expert
Donc,
in
le
the field.
microsurfaçage,
But
c'est
the
plus
microsurfacing
dire
is more to
l'utilisation de l'asphalte
to keep the asphalt condition in a good state. We're approximately 2017 in that area. We did La Gillette up to Melançon at that time. The asphalt has to be preserved. That's why we do microsurfacing up to that area. I don't think, to my knowledge, we didn't go any further with the asphalting. That's why we do it that way. So, would the rest of it be in good condition or what? It's too late. Too late for microservicing. If we take the front of Champlain, that part is too late for microservicing because the quality of the asphalt.
Ouais, parce que le chemin Fort
Well,
Saint-Cal, ça fait pas
Fox Creek Road,
2 ans qu'on
it's been
c'est
what,
ça.
3 or 4
Fait que c'est ça,
roads
j'essaie
since we
les
work on it.
ça va être par la condition, les
Does it
conditions,
go
c'est ça, j'essaie
according to the condition, or
la qualité
well, that's what I'm trying
de
to
l'asphalt
understand.
à la condition.
So normally we try to do it after 4 or 5 years.
Maintenant, pour le futur
Is there a plan for the future
du
to
restant des streets de
fix
Fort Creek,
the other streets up to Fox Creek Road? Yes, that would be following a request. Every year we have a 5 year plan, and we say what street we'd like to redo. And that section, I don't know what year it would be, but we have plans for the section of Amiro. That's a road that is,
plusieurs autos et
there must be a lot of
des
cars,
autos du Fort Creek
thousand cars that
en bonne condition.
drive on it
Ramasse
every day. And the road is not in good condition. There was some patching, but they stopped
l'autre
after
côté
halfway to the other side. They did the northern side of the road or west.
ah, c'est juste un chemin que
No, it's just a road that
il y a beaucoup de monde qui passe et comme
a lot of people drive on it.
main road, je voulais dire,
A main road,
c'est l'autoroute road
but I found it
qui
funny.
pourrait l'année prochaine,
Well, could be next year.
il faudrait tout faire dans une autre année que l'on
Could it be in one more year they'll do it? Is it within the plans? It's in the plan, but
Les évaluations.
it depends on what the province is willing to give us. We send the plans, but sometimes it's up to them to decide uh,
OK.
which one they put on the project. So we'll come back to the council with a recommendation of priorities of a designated highway in July or August. We'll come back with a recommendation, and you'll see the plan that is recommended to the province, all of Champlain and the Miro, Dover Road, and part of the Boulevard, if I remember correctly. These are all designated road that the province will invest 52 to 53%. When we have a partner, we invest like this year. We're doing with surfacing. Our money is there waiting.
Merci.
Thank you.
Pas d'autres questions?
No other
Ceux qui
question?
sont en faveur
All
de
those in
l'adoption,
favor,
par un oui.
say aye.
Ceux contraires, par un non.
Contrary
Merci.
minded, say
C'est
nay.
tel que présenté.
Adopted as
Merci.
presented. Thank you.
Prochain item.
Next item,
L'application de marché pour le fraisage et l'asphaltage de 2022. Alors, le Mill and Pave, donc on
the
connaît ça
Millen
pour les
paving. As we know, in the region, the two projects here are Dieppe Boulevard and part of Pascal and Beauval and Champlain Street.
l'offre. On a reçu 3
Following a
propositions.
call of
Deux
tender, we
entreprises.
received
Une
three
entreprise
McDonald
SLG qui
paving
a envoyé
SL.
une
This is
entreprise
recommended for an amount of
qui s'appelle
$1,682,750
et
plus
aussi le
HST,
service de
and
Anglo
also
Corp
the service of
pour
Anglo Corp
l'ingénierie au
for
montant
the
de 15 000
engineering at the amount
environ.
$115,000 at the account identified
Ça,
to be
c'est
disbursed for the advice. It's a recommendation from the
l'application
staff
de
to the
2022
project of 2022 for asphalt
Merci pour la lecture de la
purposes.
résolution.
For the reading of the
Monsieur
resolution,
Brideau.
Monsieur Brideau.
Merci, Monsieur le Maire.
Thank you, Worship.
Le Conseil
That council awarded the tender for the call asphalt and 2022 of the Boulevard and Pascal to the lowest bidder, McDonald Paving and Construction Limited, at the cost of $1,682,701.50 plus HST. Authorize and Globe Corp to undertake engineering services relating to said project of $115,000 plus HST, and authorize that these expenses be taken from account number 3-3-35-758-7801, general capital budget, asphalt management. And that council authorize the following budget transfer to account 3-3-35-53-6801, general budget of the asphalt management, and $175,000 from account number 3-3-35-58-78-7603, general capital budget, microsurfacing program, and $400,000 from account 7-4-20-1280 from a general capital budget. That's all moved by Councilor Brito, seconded by Councilor Thibodeau. Under question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded say nay. Carried. That brings us to 10.4.1, the PAC recommendation for the amending tentative plan for the Airview subdivision. Jim Nelson. This the PAC recommendation is to accept the proposed plan in the subdivision. We're doing a job this year on Airview Street to make sure the access and safety of people to be able to travel. We undertake a project with the developer to build a connection from Lake Bird to Airview. That's the recommendation to proceed made by the PAC. For the reading of the resolution, Mrs. Roy, please. That the council accept the recommendation, the planning advisory committee recommendation relating to the Airview, which relative plan which provides for the extension of Labour Street and Lakeburn Avenue. Move and seconded. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. And reminded say nay. The resolution is accepted as presented. That brings us to 10.4.2. Monsieur Melanson. So we receive from Quest Capital a request to amend the zoning map, a small piece on a subdivision between Keith and Dieppe Boulevard. So the committee, the PAC, made the recommendation with one condition that the future development be conform to the existing uh, the National Building Code, be conform with it. The PAC is recommending to proceed with this proposal. For the reading of this proposal, Mrs. Woodrow.
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Le Conseil accepte la
That Council
recommandation
accept the recommendation made on May the 18th, 2022 by the Planning Advisory Committee allowing the application of the zoning bylaw as seen on bylaw to 1010 bracket 2022 relatively to the land identified on page 70228465 in order to allow the development of the multifamily. That council accept that this application be subject to section 59 of the Community Planning Act according to the following condition. One, that any future development on the said property be compliance with the planning and bylaw and the zoning bylaw. And the council proceed with the first and second reading of bylaw Z-10 bracket 2021-4. I shall move by Councilor Boudreau, seconded by Councilor Roy. On the question. On the question, Ms. Goodbout.
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
Your
Juste
Worship.
simplement clarification, si vous
Just a
voulez.
clarification, if you can.
À la page 70
Page
du
70 of our
document,
document,
on nous dit
last paragraph, we say that pursuant to the yes, the public notice have been sent in an array of 100 meters of the project. Can you confirm if it's a like a small square, or if it's a project that could have, if it's given, the 100 meters is based on what? That's what I want to know. Sure.
Ça, c'est
Non, c'est effectivement le terrain du triangle.
In fact, it's a triangle,
On
the
l'a
line.
aussi noté
There again, we
dans
noted your
la
comment
réunion précédente.
from the
On l'a noté
previous,
aussi ici
at the
sur
public hearing,
pour avoir une réflexion
so we could have a
des logements
reflection on the procedure.
dans ce sens ici,
But for this
avec
case,
un périmètre
it's
de
really
100 mètres
a array of 100
du
meters
terrain en question là, qui est
from
situé
the
sur cette
property in
parcelle-là.
question. That is
Si, moi j'ai littéralement mes
part of
commentaires
this.
dans
I
le
repeat my comments
premier
from the
document
last time that, in my
parce
opinion,
que
100 meters should apply to other
l'inconvénient avec la
project that
modification
is allowed
justement
because of the amendments and not a small
d'intégrité,
piece that is affected.
est-ce que les gens de la rue Bouchard
The
peuvent
people on
se
Bouchard
mettre là dessus?
were in the 100 meters. I don't think so.
Comme si on regarde le rayon de 100 mètres, là, je pense pas que
Yeah,
les gens
around
de
100
Bouchard
meters, I don't think the people
auraient
on Bouchard were notified. Well, let's know that the property that we sent of Bouchard already have an R4 zoning,
l'aménagement qui serait
so
proposé
it's
au
a,
sud.
it would be
Donc, c'est
allowed
important de
on the
déterminer
south.
si
But
on parle
for the triangle, we talk
d'un
about
bâtiment potentiel
an expanding of
sur la
potential building. That's why
d'avoir
West
un bâtiment
Capital came for a rezoning
pour un bâtiment
and to
dédié
try and have a building that is bigger.
subdivision
So if the
properly
council wished not to allow it for any given reason,
West Cablo a réalisé
well,
ça comme
West Capital would have to readjust all their perimeters to comply
J'ai compris,
with the
merci
zoning.
de poser les
But for
questions.
me, it's a question I would have liked to see an amendment internally
Consultation
to
publique.
allow more public consultation and not to side with the developer. Thank you. Other question?
Sinon, ceux qui sont en
If
faveur de
not, those in
l'adoption,
favor,
dire oui.
say aye.
De l'avis contraire par un non.
Contrary minded, say nay.
Non de Madame
One no,
non pour Madame Godbout.
noted for Ms. Godbout,
La résolution est acceptée par la
except
majorité du Conseil.
adopted by the majority.
Et ça nous amène
That brings us to
aux arrêtés,
the bylaw,
des arrêtés
the reading of the municipal bylaw,
qui veut dire aux...
lecture en sommaire pour l'arrêté P2.
reading is summary for
Excusez-moi.
P2
Au 10.4.2.
Non,
and
11.1, les arrêtés municipaux.
11.1,
Oui, c'est ça.
Lecture par
the
sommaire.
bylaw,
Lecture sommaire seulement. Pour,
summary reading,
pour la lecture sommaire sur la loi de la gouvernance
summary
locale pour la
on the local governance,
15,
15,
2 et
2
3.
and 3,
C'est ça, lecture sommaire.
summary reading.
Pour cette lecture,
For that reading,
Monsieur Thibodeau.
Monsieur Thibodeau,
Merci, Monsieur le Maire.
Your Worship,
Arrêté P2
bylaw P2
2022.
2022, a bylaw
Marchand
relating to the
partie des pouvoirs
peddlers and transit pursuant to the law of the local NB Chapter 18, the municipal council duly assembled on definition bylaw. These are integral part of this bylaw. 1. Definition. 2. Permit. 3. Ask of permit. Variance of responsibility of the holder of the expenses. Exception. 8. Infraction. Interpretation. I so move on summary. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Boudreau. Other question? No question. All those in favor say aye. And very minded say no. So the summary reading was done for that article. Last reading, title only. Mr. Thibodeau. Thank you, Worship. Bylaw B2 2022 relating to peddlers and transient traders in the city of Dieppe. I move a third reading by title only. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Boudreau. Did we accept the third and final reading by title only? All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. So bylaw P2 2022 regarding butlers and transient is adopted in third and final reading. That brings us to 11.2. Bylaw C1 relating to traffic and parking for the first reading by title only. Subdivision.
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
Thank you, Worship.
Arrêté numéro 5,
Bylaw C1 2022 relating to traffic and parking in the city of Dieppe.
je vous le propose, Monsieur le maire.
I move, Your Worship,
Première lecture.
in first reading. Move in first reading by title only by Councillor Brido, seconded by Councillor Nothing. Under question. Mr. Boutier. Thank you, Worship. It's a clarification question. Maybe it does not apply, but you put a 3-lane in the front. I didn't understand. We changed the traffic at La France and Gauvin. Normally, would it go there? It does not apply. It's only for parking. Yes. Thank you.
Monsieur Simard a fait une précision.
Mr. Simar made an explanation. Mr. Simar, the bylaw on La France, it's prohibited on both sides for parking purposes. If there's no other question, I don't see it. All those in favor, say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. And we'll proceed with the second reading by title only of this same bylaw, C1 2022. Second reading by title only. Once again, Mr. Brido.
Monsieur le maire, arrêté
Thank you, Worship. Bylaw C-1 2022. Bylaw relating traffic and parking instead of Dieppe. I move the adoption second reading only. Moved by Councillor Brido and was supported by Councillor Nothing. Always. Thank you. All those on the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Bylaw C1 is adopted in second reading by title only. And that brings us now to 11, Bylaw Z10 2021-4 to amend the zoning bylaw. Once again, first reading, followed by second reading. For the first reading, Ms. Godbout, please. Your Worship, Bylaw Z-10 2021-4 to amend the zoning bylaw of the city of Dieppe. I move first reading by title only. Moved by Councillor Godbout, seconded by Councillor Boudreau. Other question? Oh, no question. All those in favor of the bylaw say aye. Contrary minded say nay. So bylaw Z-10 2021 is adopted in first reading with title only. Let's proceed with second reading. Ms. Godbout. Thank you, Worship. Bylaw Z-10 2021-4 to amend and zoning bylaw of the city of Dieppe. I move second reading by title only. Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Godbout and second reading by title. Once again, Z-10 2021-4 to amend the zoning bylaw and seconded by Councillor Boudreau. If I remember correctly, it's okay. So, all those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded say nay. Bylaw is adopted in second reading by title only. That now bring us to notice of motion. None have been received. inquiries
Non, c'est
and
intéressant, là.
announcement by members of
Ce que tu
council.
vas nous dire, c'est
And
plutôt,
you will
mettons,
tell me whose turn it is. I think Monsieur Lantin,
hausser les épaules.
who just raises
François.
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
his shoulder. Thank you, Worship.
Juste deux
Well,
petites choses.
just two small things. On May 30th last, I attended the AGM of the Moncton Girls and Boys Club of the.
C'était la première.
It was my
Puis
first,
comme je
and
sais que
I was able to
la fille est en forme
notice that the
présentement,
boys and
puis ses
girls
amis qui sont
club
là,
is in
puis
good
son
hands. Some
secrétaire,
are
c'est pas comme
passionate
si
by
c'était un
their
petit show.
work. It
Alors,
was nice to see the
c'est super
diversity,
important.
which is
Puis
very
je
important.
les
So
félicite d'ailleurs
I
parce que
congratulate them because they're again like many
communiqué
others
avec
had to deal with
dans le temps de la COVID.
something that we call the COVID-19, as it was called at the time.
Hier, il y a eu leur
They went through it, they had their
puis
challenges, but I congratulate them. They're doing a fantastic
très important.
job in our community. They're very important. On June the 1st last,
J'ai le scoop
I don't
hier à
want
Mr. Jean Roy.
to break
Je l'ai laissé là-bas.
to Jean Roy
Mais j'ai aussi eu
the
la chance
scoop,
de
but I had
participer
the
à
opportunity to participate
Dieppe
in the
pour
raising of the flag
le mois de la fierté.
or the
Ça
pride,
a commencé
the month of
dimanche
the
avec
pride. Yep,
avoir son tout premier comité au
just
niveau
had his
municipal.
first committee
Puis c'est beau de voir
on the
qu'ils
pride,
sont
and
bien
it's nice to
organisés.
see
On
they're
voit que
well
c'est vraiment
organized. There's an evening
ce
coming.
que j'ai entendu, c'est que c'était
What I heard is
bien
that
rempli déjà. Donc,
it was
je les félicite, je leur souhaite bonne chance. Puis,
a
c'est tout
full
ce que
house.
j'écoute.
That's all from me. I wish you a good evening.
Merci bien.
Thank you. Thank you very
Maire
much.
Godbout.
Merci, Monsieur le
It's
maire.
good, boy. Thank you, Your
Juste
Worship.
une petite
Just a small
fait histoire. Vous
announcement.
savez que j'ai suivi les dossiers
You
d'immigration
know that I'm
dans
on
une
the issue of immigration.
expérience bien différente
I live a
cette
different
semaine.
experience this
Puis ça
week,
m'a rappelé
and
l'importance
it reminded
des
me the
retours à la
importance of
maison
a city where our
comme
family
tu as dit.
community sense is
Ensuite,
similar to
les
when
chiffres
my son
cette semaine.
fell on a
Rapidement,
bicycle this
les
week
résidents sont
quickly.
volontairement
Some citizens
venus
of
avec leur
Bernard
enfant
Street
de 6 mois de plus.
look after my
Jean,
son,
ils l'ont ramené dans leur maison.
and they took
Donc,
the son full of blood. They brought him in the house
merci
and they
organisation
cleaned
pour
him
accompagner
until
les
someone could come and
places
get
de
him.
sécurité
And they
jusqu'à ce
gave him a safe place where they gave him
je me
the
souviens comment ça s'est passé en
initial
sécurité avec
first aid
l'histoire de
where he could feel
la
safe
jeune couple
to come back to himself. A
francophone
young
et
immigrant
suivi ici depuis une
who
année.
live here
Ça se
for
passait
one
bien.
year and already
Bon,
they've
c'est
integrated
familial.
themselves. They have a community
Finalement,
sense
depuis cette
feeling.
année, ça m'a fait
Just
travailler
want
sur
to
les
mention
liens
that it
entre
reminded me the
l'immigration
importance of our
et
immigration
les
policy
apports que ces gens-là
and
nous apportent des
the
bons
service we
services
offer them. They bring us good
santé.
qualities. They show us what is
Merci.
important.
C'est
So thank you to that young
très
couple.
apprécié.
Good evening,
Merci
everyone.
bien.
Thank you,
Madame Turgeon-Roy.
Mr. Jean.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Moi, j'ai un projet
So
d'extension
I
Dieppe.
want to talk about
Le 6
expansion.
juin
Yeah,
dernier,
on
nous
June
avons
6th,
participé ici
I
à
participated to the AGM
l'expansion
of
en étant
expansion.
membre du
The
conseil
as being a
d'administration du
member of the
canton.
board of directors for 1 year now.
L'expansion Dieppe, c'est un
Expansion
projet
Dieppe
stratégique en
has
zone
given
francophone
itself a
du Canada.
strategic
Ça fait
plan
un
for
lien
since
avec
2021 and is working
l'année 2021
brilliantly.
atteint
The
aussi
year
un
2021
niveau de
has reached
développement
summit in the
relevé.
economic
Avec
development.
son équipe
So when
développement
it's
terrain
the team
de nouvelles constructions résidentielles et de
engaged,
construction
and the
aménagée.
question makes usage have reached $41 million.
Donc, parmi les
So
objectifs,
among
ça
the
inclut
other facts of
l'ensemble
this
des
record
histoires
year, let's
sociales.
mention the
Donc, les
success
édifices comme celui de la
story,
Croyance de la
such
Fondation
as the
municipale de
Public Service Alliance on
la
the River,
Touchette qui s'est installée
the
sur le site
Touchette
de
that
l'aviation.
is on
L'extension
aviation,
Terrasse du Marché
the Terrace du
dans
Marché
Mixed
building
C'était
for
aussi
mixed
à Dieppe.
use on
Je
Champlain
veux également
Street.
souligner
And we have
l'expansion
to
d'amélioration du
mention
stationnement
the
aussi
improvement of
et
parking in downtown. And
plusieurs
finally, the
entreprises
opening of several
et
business.
entreprises de
The
café qui
Tony's
s'installent
Cafe
ici
has set up
spécialement
not
dans
far
le
from
domaine de
here
l'assurance en
a
immobilier.
lot of medical
La ville de
offices
Dieppe
and so on and so
connaît une
forth.
croissance
The city
économique
of Dieppe
importante et nous pouvons
is
souligner
living an important
avec sa
economic
croissance
growth,
démographique.
and we
Donc,
can
c'est un élément
compare
très
with
positif.
demographic expansion.
Également, nous avons le vent dans
We
les
have
voiles et plusieurs projets
the wind
d'aménagement dans les
in our
prochains
wing
mois, comme le
in the
Centre
years to come.
d'information et l'immigration francophone
There's
et
the
encore
francophone
plusieurs
immigration
projets. Ce qui
and
témoigne que
economic.
nous
This
décidons
shows that
très
we are
ambitieusement
positioning
de faire
well
de
in the
l'immigration
advancement of our immigration
en
policy
2020 et en
in
2024.
in
Donc, je
2020 and
souhaite que Dieppe
2024. We are
demeure la destination
on the
d'accueil
way
pour
to
les
become the
immigrants.
destination of choice by immigrants. Be proud of our development and the accomplishment for the city of Dieppe and a place where it's nice to live and also an appropriate place for part- partnership we have to recognize the public private sector and their recognition in our economic to invest in Dieppe is to assure one growth. I do it also on behalf of my colleagues here to express all our acknowledgement for the permanent staff and the members of council. And one last thing to say, as a proud mother of graduate of Yamata, I would sincerely like to congratulate all the graduates for having made it to the finishing line. Congratulations for your perseverance and resilience, because you know something happened in the last 2 years. It was not easy, but you succeeded, and the future is yours. Congratulations. That's all. Good week.
Merci bien,
Thank you,
Monsieur Thibodeau.
Monsieur Thibodeau.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Moi,
Your
j'aimerais
worship,
une chose.
I simply have one thing
Je
tonight.
voudrais souligner
I would like to
l'importance que
underline
certains citoyens, certains résidents
some citizens or residents of the city of Dieppe,
particulier sur
and
Ville Boisé,
especially on Boisé Street, on the
les gens se
dead
tiennent
end,
ensemble
the
pour
people
semer le
got
gazon
together
chaque
to sow the lawn around the dead end and the
arbres
city provided
qui ont été
trees
plantés.
and they planted them.
Puis
And
le gazon qu'ils ont semé, c'est tout
the
un
lawn that
effet
they sowed
des
is
citoyens de la ville
to
pour
their expense.
préparer
Several people
faire ça
got
joli,
together and they
pour
worked
avoir
together
un
to
beau
do it.
site
I
pour
congratulate them and I'm
pouvoir
very proud
de la bienveillance
to
que vous avez
see
pour
uh,
vous
such
avez fait
nice work
impliquer
in our city. That's all, Your
Merci
Worship.
bien,
Thank
Monsieur
you,
le conseiller
Councillor
Brideau.
Brido.
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
Your Worship,
Moi, j'ai juste deux idées
I
que je
only
voudrais
have two
soulever.
items that I would like to
C'est
raise.
à nos résidents à Dieppe
To our
d'avoir la
residents in Dieppe,
patience
I ask you to be
durant
patient
l'été
during the
concernant
summer months
le bruit, la
concerning the
locomotion,
noise,
etc.
the
Encore une
speed
fois, on
on our
répète,
street. Once again, we're repeating,
même si on reçoit des
even
plaintes comme
if we
conseiller,
receive complaints as counselors,
on n'est pas inactif envers la
we are
CMP.
not
La
inactive
personne est au
towards
courant
the
de la
RCMP. Are made
situation de la
aware
ville
the RCMP is
et
working
on
on
doit
programs to improve the situation. So I just want to
Dieppe
make sure to tell you, people of Dieppe,
toujours
we
avoir
are
l'œil
not
critique.
deaf
On
to
essaie
your
de
complaint. We're trying to
discuter avec la GRC.
conciliate
Alors,
with the
je vois du
RCMP,
positif
so we
dans les
should
prochains
be
mois à venir.
seeing positive in the months to
Et
come.
le deuxième point que je veux
And the
apporter,
second thing I want to raise is
il y a actuellement trois conseillers qui ont
recently
eu
with
chance
three
de participer
councillors who had an opportunity to
au
participate
congrès de la Fédération
in the
canadienne des municipalités.
FCM
De ma part, ça a été une belle
convention.
expérience.
It was a good experience for me
Le
because
retour au
it
congrès
was the return
sans
to
les
the
attentes
convention
d'un
because
congrès
during the last 2 years there was
vraiment
no
positif.
convention. We met a lot of
Canada.
people who come from all over Canada,
Merci,
mayor,
ça a été
councillors.
une belle expérience
It
pour
was a good experience,
Merci de m'avoir
positive.
écouté.
I want to thank your worship
Son absence, j'ai pu le
because
remplacer
it's I was able to replace him.
une belle expérience.
It
Merci
was a
beaucoup.
good experience. Thank you, your worship.
Merci bien,
Thank you,
Madame Boudreau.
Mrs.
Merci,
Boudreau.
Monsieur le maire.
Thank you,
Moi
your
aussi, je
worship.
voudrais faire mention
Similarly, I
du
want to go
voyage de
back
Regina
on the
de
trip
l'Union
to
citoyenne
Regina from June the 1st to the
canadienne de la
6th
Fédération
for the
canadienne des
annual
municipalités.
meeting of the
J'ai
FCM.
été entourée de mes
I
amis
was well surrounded by my
qui ont été
counselors.
bienveillants avec moi.
They were
Une des raisons pour
well
lesquelles
behaved with me.
j'ai
One of the
choisi
reasons
cette
why
activité
I
municipale
wanted to go was the
cette année,
networking of the
après une
conference.
année
And with only
d'expérience
1 year of
municipale
experience
difficile,
on the
je savais que
council,
c'était un besoin
I
pour
knew that it was a
mon
need
réseau.
that I had
J'ai
to
rencontré des gens qui
meet
partageaient mes
people who
valeurs
share the same values as us
de différents pays.
and who come from all
J'ai
over
rencontré
Canada.
des conseillers
I
colombie,
picked some business cards from
New-Brunswickois,
BC, Saskatchewan, New Brunswickers from all over the
j'ai
place, from
rencontré
people.
d'affaires
I
des
picked business cards
entrepreneurs
from
sur le plan
innovative
environnemental.
business on the
J'ai fait des
environmental
séances
aspect.
de
I was
typage,
invited to networking
un groupe qui aide les
sessions,
jeunes dans
people
l'action
have
climatique.
sessions on
J'ai vu
climatic
la
change.
mairie
I
de
heard the
Saskatoon
mayor of Saskatoon talk
D'ailleurs,
about
Initiative
their
Verte
green
ont eu des
initiative.
discussions avec
and I had a
les
good
chartes
discussion with counselors who are looking for
je
answers
pense
like
que c'est
myself.
important
I think it's
de
very important to
rester
continue to
connecté, de
network
construire
and to
un réseau pour
build
partager
a
ces
network to
informations.
share these good ideas.
Ici, il y a
Also,
eu plusieurs critiques
yes,
qui étaient vraiment
there were
intéressantes.
several
Parce que le but, c'est de partager
stands
les bornes électriques,
with
les trottinettes électriques, les
electronic
trottinettes
of all
électriques.
kinds of electric
Les
appliances,
ateliers étaient vraiment
and the
intéressants.
workshops were very interesting. Also,
C'était le
I attended
financement
one. It
municipal,
was a municipal
subdivision
financing
et ça m'a
in the
beaucoup
perspective of equality. It made me think
comment bâtir une
how to
municipalité
build
équitable
anti-racist
et
and inclusive
plusieurs ateliers
municipality.
continuer d'écouter
I will
les
continue to
idées
listen
proposées parce que
in
c'est
the weeks, in the few weeks, because it was recorded. There's some sessions I would listen. That's pretty well it for me. Thank you.
Merci, Madame
Thank you,
Boutier.
Mr. Boutier.
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
Thank you, Bishop.
Deux questions de
Two
plus
questions
d'informations.
of information per se.
Ma première, c'était sur, on va
My
changer
first,
de contrat avec
we're
pour la collecte des déchets.
changing for the garbage collection. I think we changed in
Au niveau
July.
communication, j'ai
What
commencé
is
à
the
voir
communication I
sur
started
les réseaux
seeing
sociaux.
on social media?
Je me demandais c'est
I
quoi
was
les
wondering,
mesures qu'on a comme ville
what do
pour
we offer
sensibiliser
as a city to make sure that
pour
all our
ce,
citizens will be
ce
aware
changement-là? Parce
of
qu'on
that
s'attend
change?
on est l'été,
Because there's a change of date. It's summer. It will be warm. Will the
est-ce qu'on va faire
garbage
un
be
envoi?
picked
Donc,
up?
est-ce qu'on avait pensé
Will
faire
there
un envoi
be something sent to the house? Ms. Duguay is Annie.
Bonjour Annie, je vois que votre micro est allumé, mais
Hello, I don't see the mic. We don't hear you.
on ne rien, Madame Lepoutier.
Ah oui.
On fait le suivi
Parfait.
demain matin.
Juste pour s'assurer.
We'll make a follow-up tomorrow.
Étant donné encore une fois,
And
ça
once
va être
again,
l'hiver.
we're during the summer season.
C'était les toilettes portatives. On est rendu où exactement
Portable
dans la présentation?
toilet. There was supposed to be a presentation as to the plans for this year. There was a pilot project that was being planned. I would like to have information. If you don't have it, maybe you can share it with us later on. Thank you for the question. As far as I know, the file is being analyzed and something is being planned. So it's active and we have good research that we were able to do. So we are doing something right now. That's all for me. Thank you.
Monsieur Godet.
Juliet.
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
Thank you, Bishop.
Petites choses.
Just a few
J'ai participé au
small
déplacement
things. I did not participate to the raising of the flag,
des Shriners.
the Shriners flag,
Le travail qu'ils
and I did not realize the work they're doing. They help children and families. They do a good job. And it was nice to meet those people. And secondly, maybe I could have follow up with Miss Spencer for the signs for the first week in Amiro corner. You told me it was forthcoming. Yes, thank you for the question. I think the request was made to Public Work, but we'll have a follow up with them to see where it's at. Thank you. That's all for me. That's all. So I want to thank first of all the members of council who have replaced me for the raising of flags and these things. It's from time to time I can't attend, so it really helped me. Thank you for that. And as a grandfather, I should allow myself what Mrs. Chujnoa allow herself to congratulate one of our granddaughter who's graduating at Majumata. And I can't wait next week on the 26th, if I'm not mistaken, to participate in their graduation ceremony. That being said, thank you to all of you for your attention, your hard work, as much at council as the members of the staff. You're appreciated. Thank you. Good night, everybody.